All right, shalom, shalom. Brother Kadash, want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash, right? This is going to be titled The Dispersed of Israel. I was watching a show, it was a YouTube yesterday, Back to Africa. The guy that does the, it's not your boy, it's your man, not your boy, Back to Africa, right? That brother's been, I think that brother believes that we are the Hebrew Israelites too, because I see a lot of that on his channel, man. That's just the spirit of the Lord. That's a great thing, So when I found that out, I just started watching more and more of his videos. I think he's doing great work. I think he, he has his points and stuff about going back to Africa. If you're an individual dude, is it against the law, statutes, and commandments for you to, if you have the ability to get a passport and move out of Mystery Babylon, America? Is it against the law, statutes, commandments to do that? No. Can you do that? Yes. Does that mean that because you leave out of Mystery Babylon, because you have the ability to do it, that you're not a man of the Lord, that you're not a part of the elect? That does not mean that. We're going to read some of this that proves that, there is doctrines that's been taught, that have some credibility to them, that, okay, the deliverance is going to come from Mystery Babylon. Deliverance is going to come from around the whole world. But, some brothers, when sometimes you talk to yourself about things, and, you may say that, I want to be here when it all goes down. I want to be in Mystery Babylon to see it all goes down, because the greatest deliverance is going to come from here, just like in Egypt, but there's going to be brothers that's going to be gathered all around the world too at the same time. But you shouldn't let that discourage you. If you want to go back to Africa, if you want to go to Ghana, which is where he's at, you could do that, man. And it may actually be a good thing to do. I was watching on his channel. He was showing a brother that was over there. I think he was selling like some type of walnuts, peanuts, maybe neither one of those, but on that line, and he said that shit, his rent was like $100, $90 a year. So that's completely crazy, right? And I seen some more things on his channel. It was a farmer, a Jake that was a farmer. He went over there. I seen a Jake. I'm gonna upload the video from his channel. I'm gonna upload the video of a Israelite that he was so-called African American that he was interviewing over there, that had multiple wives, and he was talking, man. This old man, or what's the name we call him? This brother, right? This elder, because he is an elder, right? He was talking some. He was spitting fire. I'm like, every other sentence, like he asked him, every other answer he gave, I'm clapping. I'm like cheering him on, like he's spitting super fire. I'm gonna upload that too. I'm gonna do a reaction to it, right? So he uploaded an elder over there, an Israelite that was had a farm. He had his wife and stuff like that, and they were saying it was great. You know what I mean? But that's just a shadow of things to come. Now you could go over there and your life may improve. But it's really just a shadow of things that come when the Lord gathers us and take us back to Israel, which is like the same landmass as what you would call Africa, right? There ain't no such thing as the Middle East in the Bible. So, that's going to be great when that happens, right? And one of the things that the farmer said, he referred to the African Americans, not just African Americans, but you got, our brothers in the UK, all over the world, right? He referred to them as the diaspora, right? Meaning the dispersed. And then that clicked something in my brain. I was like, oh, that sounds like Isaiah 11, right? The dispersed. But he referred to that talking about the African Americans. See, that's just little gems right there. We're not saying that that's proof that we're the Israelites, but those things add up to paint the full picture. You kind of got to be in this truth to catch some of those things, for those who, the Lord shows things and shows signs like that, where other people may not catch them. You see what I'm saying? But that showed me, I'm like, look, so them over there, they refer to us as the dispersed, man. And the Bible refers to the Israelites as being dispersed. So it's just more signs to paint the full picture. Not saying that that's the only proof, like vocab Malone. Is this your proof? No, it's just one thing out of many things that add up together, just like with the 12 tribe chart, man. But they don't understand that shit, But let's just jump straight into the Bible. And let's go into what we found. So we started at Isaiah 10, verse 22. Now watch this. It says, "For though thy people of Israel," I want to show you something. So Follow with me. I want to show you some. It says, for though thy people of Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, and the consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So this is a future prophecy, right? I can keep reading. It shows you it's a future prophecy. So for this to be a future prophecy, it's telling you who's going to be saved, who's the remnant of people. It's saying Israel. When it says Israel, it's talking about the people that come from the man Israel, his seed. It's not talking about anybody that just believes. That doesn't make you an Israelite. Just like it doesn't make me Arabian or an Arab if I just believe in their doctrine. I could go to China and believe in and follow Buddhists, but it don't make me a Chinese man. It just makes me an African American man that follows Buddha. That's it, which is a false god. So it's the same thing. You could believe on our God, right? But it doesn't make you an Israelite, right? Just like the people in the land that's claiming to be us. They say the same thing. They say, yeah, you could believe and you could follow this and you could convert to it, but they say it don't make you Jewish. So it's the same thing in the Bible, man. You know, so that replacement theory shit is out the window. Verse 23 says, for the Lord God of hosts shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land. Therefore, thus say the Lord God of hosts, O my people, the people of Israel, that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrian. He shall smite thee with the rod and shall lift up the staff against thee after the manner of Egypt. So it's just saying, just like we went to bondage in Egypt, it's more bondages. It says, for yet a very little while, and the indignation shall cease, and my anger in their destruction. Right? So now let's go to Isaiah. Now let's move forward to Isaiah 11, right? I wanted to get that to kind of set the floor of the remnant of Israel is going to be gathered, right? So now when we get to Isaiah 11, getting straight to the point, right? First, let's just start verse 10, right? It says, in the day there shall be a root of Jesse, right? A root, he's talking about his seed line, his bloodline. It says, which shall stand for the inside of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest should be glorious. Now watch this, right? Because you guys take words out of context and just apply them and just say, oh, it means this. The word Gentile never meant everybody on the earth. The word Gentile has different definitions. Gentile could be anybody outside the nation of Israel, or Israelites also could be named Gentiles. So if you really want to prove in the Bible other nations being saved or going to be saved, you have to get it by their name. You have to, just like I could get something that said the remnant of Israel, you have to get something that says the remnant of Esau should be saved. The remnant of Moab should be saved by name. Not just the word anybody, everybody, Gentile, because things could be taken out of context, right? Verse 11, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time. So this is a future prophecy because the Lord hasn't did it a second time, right? We all agree. Okay, let's keep going, Christians. It says, second time to recover the remnant of his people. So just like it said in Isaiah 10, it's talking about the remnant. But it says of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Patmos and from Cush and from Elam and from Simnar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. So this don't mean Egyptians, Assyrians. This is talking about Israelites that are living amongst the Assyrians, living amongst the Egyptians, and Cush and Elam. It's not talking about those actual people. And that's where the misunderstanding comes in when you're reading the Bible. You know, people don't understand that, and that's a very amateur mistake, you know. So now watch this. It's going to prove it. It says, and shall set up an ensign for the nations. So he's setting up an ensign for these nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. See? So why is he setting up an ensign for the nations to assemble the outcasts of Israel? Because the Israelites were scattered into all these nations. So it's not that everybody could be saved. It's that the Israelites have been scattered into everybody, every different people. That's all it's talking about. So, yeah, can you go back to the land of Cush and move back to Africa? Go back to Africa if you wanted to, yes. Because it says it's going to be a deliverance from there. You see? It says, it shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah. So if the Lord was just talking about anybody on earth, he would just say, and gather together the people that believe, or anybody on the earth. But it says, gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. See, so it's showing you that Israel, the Israelites of Judah, which is southern kingdom, northern kingdom and southern kingdom, have been scattered through the four corners of earth. So if they've been scattered through the four corners of earth, that means they've been scattered amongst all these different people, which means what? The Lord, if he's going to deliver them, he would have to do it by the way of what? By getting them from all the different places he scattered them, from amongst all the people. So that's what you're seeing. It says, the envy of Ephraim should depart, and the adversaries of Judah should be cut off. Ephraim should not envy Judah, and Judah should not vex Ephraim. Because it's a back and forth things, man, that's going on. This is referring to the southern kingdom being Judah and the northern kingdom being Ephraim, and the way that we go back, divide and conquer. The way we go back and forth hating off each other. So it's just saying that, look, they're not going to envy us no more, and we're not going to vex them. You know what I mean? Put it in their face and all that shit. That it's going to be unity, right? So let's do a quick stop here and prove that same concept again. I mean, am I making this up, or am I reading it out the Bible and proving to you? I mean, the chapter is proving itself to you, right? Here, I want to read full chapter. Acts 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, these are actual Jews by blood, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So it's saying these Jews came out of every nation under heaven. Every other people on earth, they're Jews by blood, but they came from out of there. I give you a perfect example now. Watch this. Is this facts or not, right? An Israelite could be living in Greek and call himself a Greek. An Israelite could be living in Egypt. I mean, we seen it with Moses, right? And call themselves an Egyptian and pass to be an Egyptian. But they're an Israelite by blood. You see? Just like in America, right? You got something called an African American. Meaning they're American. They call themselves American, but they're not really from here. They're from Africa. That's what they say, right? But we know we're Israelites, but we call ourselves American. So I'm an Israelite. My mother's, if I'm an Israelite, my mother and my father are Israelites too, right? Let's just say that. I call myself an Israelite. So I will be considered a Jew. But my mother and father, they don't call themselves Israelites. They call themselves Americans. You see how it is? So if you had Jews in Greece, calling themselves Jews, and then you had Jews that was of the same blood, meaning they're all Israelites, but they weren't calling themselves Jews. They were calling themselves Greeks. So just because it say Greek or Gentile, that don't mean that it's talking about another nation outside of Israel. It could be talking about Israelites that are living as these other nations. Just like we have Israelites or African Americans in America living as Americans. Very simple thing, right? That's what it's saying. There was dwelling out Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. And then when you go down and list all these different nations, but you got to remember verse 5 says that they were actually Jews. But they came from out of all these different places. It lists Egypt. It lists, matter of fact, let's keep reading. And now when the noise was abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. But they're all Israelites. It just said that they're Jews. They were speaking different languages because they were scattered amongst different people where they picked up those different nations' customs and their languages. Just like me. I speak English because we went into captivity here in America under the British, under the Englishmen. And then the other Israelites, they speak Spanish because the Spaniards conquered them. You see the same example today, right? It says, and they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Gilead? So just because they speak Gilead and call themselves Gilead don't mean that they're that by blood. They could be Israelites by blood. And how hear we every man in his own tongue wherein we were born? It says, man, these names, Parthians, Medes, Elamites, just like it said in Isaiah 11, and the dwellers in Macedonia and Judea, and it just goes on and on. Asia, Egypt is in there, Libya is in there, Rome, it's all in there, man. And it just keeps going and on. But remember, these are devout men. They are Jews. But they were speaking these different languages because they live amongst these different places, just like a so-called black man in America. And then a so-called black man in the UK, Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are no different. They're the same people by blood, but they live in different places. You see how that works? Let's keep going. Now I want to go back because I had this one. Ezekiel 37. It's so much. You really got to read the whole chapter because it's such a great chapter. But I'm going to get to the point pretty much. Here. Verse 22. It says, "And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and there shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all." So this is called staying on topic. So just like it said in Isaiah 11, Ephraim is not going to envy Judah. Judah is not going to vex Ephraim anymore, right? It said that. That's what this is talking about. They're going to be one nation, and they're not going to be divided. Northern kingdom, southern kingdom. It says, "Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols," because that's what made them Gentiles, about following the idols of the Gentiles. It says, "Nor with their detestable things, nor of any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places." There it goes again. They're dwelling amongst these different people in these different lands. The Lord is going to gather the dispersed of Israel and save them, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them, right? It says, "So shall be my people, and I will be their God," right? And David, and it just told you who. It says they should be no more two nations, Israel. It just told you who he's saying should be his people. And it's very simple right there. This is talking about future prophecy, right? It says, "And David, my servant, should be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them." Doesn't that sound like the new covenant? He should write the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. Future prophecy, right? So we already got this established pretty much, that this is a future prophecy, right? And that we're reading. "And they shall dwell in the land that I give it into Jacob my servant." When he says I give it to Jacob my servant, he's talking about Israel, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He's not talking about Moab, Esau, Ammon, anybody that believes. He gave that land that was promised to the Israelites, wherein your fathers have dwelt. See, the word father is indicating this is talking about a bloodline, seed, because you are your father's seed. See, it didn't just say anybody where humankind dwelt. It said your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the bloodline. It says, "And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children." So when you get to talking about children, then you're talking about seed. That's what this is about. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the chosen seed. If you are outside that chosen line, then the promise is not for you. Because every nation had their different promises, just like Ishmael had a promise. He was fruitful and multiplied. That's his promise. And you can see that right now with the Arabs. There's a lot of them, right? Moab had their blessing, their promise. The Israelites' blessing and promise is the kingdom of heaven, rulership over the earth. That's only for them. Just like Ishmael promise was for him. Just like Esau promise was for him, which we see him living out his promise right now. He has dominion over the earth. It says over the heavens, the dew of heaven. He has dominion everything right now, and it says he ruled with the sword. So we see them, they're rulership because they're the number one superpower on earth, because they have the strongest army. We see them ruling with weapons, with the sword. That's given to them. Ours is next, because Jacob hand held the foot of Esau. So that was symbolization that Esau came out first. He was the elder one, that he would live his blessing first, and then Jacob's turn will be after. Tells you that, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Look it up. Right? It says, "And their children forever. My servant David shall be their prince forever." Because David is a king, but then he's a prince under the Lord. So we're all kings, but we're all princes under the Lord. Right? The prince of power. That's what Yasharallah means. Right? It says, "Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It should be an everlasting covenant with them." Watch this. "I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yeah, I will be their God, and they should be my people. And the heathen should know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary should be in the midst of them evermore." Case closed. He said the heathen should know that he sanctified Israel. He's making a difference. With that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.